Hi, Jordan here with more Manly Man Jeep Adventures. Thank you for joining me. I'm here in Denver getting ready to vote, and so I thought I would show you that. Who knows how much that does, but it's good to do, they say. So there you go. We'll give it a shot. And so I thought I would check in with you because I was talking last about my Jeep overheating, and I have been trying to see if I can get some parts for it. They're a little more difficult to come by than maybe I had thought, and kind of expensive too, so I need to come up with the money and find the parts. And while I'm working on that, I thought maybe I'd check in with you and let you know what I'm doing. Maybe we could talk a little bit more too about what happened with the red Jeep. So as you may know from previous videos, I bought it in South Carolina and then brought it here to Denver, and I did quite a bit of work on it here, but I was always needing to do more, and it seemed at some point like it might be nice for somebody to kind of go through who really knew what they were doing and really take a look at everything, kind of take it apart. Maybe I was kind of thinking that might be a nice idea, but I wasn't really sure. I talked to a couple of restoration places here in Denver, and they weren't really that interested in it. Kind of like I've described before too, they were, the classic car places thought of it as a Jeep, and they weren't really that interested in it, didn't know that much about it. And the Jeep guys were not really thrilled with it not being a sort of mountaineering type 4x4, and they weren't really that restoration minded per se anyway. So at the same time as that came up too, a trip that I wanted to take to Europe ended up not panning out because of the COVID situation. The flights were canceled and Europe wouldn't let Americans in, and a friend of mine also had that same experience. So also the main reason I wanted to go was for concerts, and they were canceled too, so that didn't really do anything. And so I was looking at maybe what else I could do, and a friend of mine had the same experience. She was wanting to go to Europe too, but couldn't get there either. And so we were kind of talking about, well, maybe we could take a trip together with our vacation times that we had, and came up with the idea of that she would like to go to Houston to visit some friends of hers, and she used to live there. And I'd like to go to Miami to visit my grandma, as I usually did it just about every year. And so we kind of came up with this idea, maybe we could go together. My friend was interested in going to Miami with me too, so we thought maybe we could take the Jeep down to Texas and leave it with the restoration place there that I'd been hearing about, and then fly from there to Miami and back again. So I talked with the restoration place there, but it turned out that they wouldn't work on anybody else's car. They would buy Jeeps and restore them and then sell them, but they wouldn't work on one owned by somebody else. So that was out, but there was another place that I remembered hearing about too that was in Miami, so I contacted them and they were interested in looking at it. So I put that together with my friend that we would drive it with a road trip down to Houston and then visit her friends there, and then drive along the Gulf Coast, which was also kind of a bucket list dream of mine, that I'd always wanted to drive along the Gulf Coast. I'd been in different places there, like Tampa and stuff, and Bradenton, and but I'd never kind of driven all along the coast. So we decided to do that together, and unfortunately my friend didn't have quite as much vacation time as I did, but we were able to put together enough time that we could go together that it would work out. And so we did. We loaded up the car and drove it down to Houston, and then from there we drove it along the coast down to Key West, which my friend wanted to do, and I like Key West too, so we did that. Unfortunately the car broke down in Key West. It just barely made it to the hotel, and they were a little bit freaked out that the car was broken down in front of their hotel. But luckily a shop there was great, and they were able to find that it needed a new alternator and get one from Miami the next day and get it put in. So got it back on the road really quickly, and then drove it up from there to Miami and showed it to my grandma, and then from there to the restoration shop, and then flew back from Miami, or from Fort Lauderdale actually, and made it back to Denver. And the Jeep is still there, so the red one. And as you know, if you've been watching this, the blue one is behind my place, and I've been working on it, and the red one is in the hands of those guys, and they assure me they're doing a good job. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and I hope you're well. Talk to you later.